Welcome to English Chill Talks. Slow conversations, clear English, and thoughtful ideas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today, Sarah and I are diving into a topic that many of you have requested, studying English on your own.
It is a huge challenge, but honestly, it is also one of the most rewarding ways to learn. Let us get started.
Hey, Sarah, how is everything going with you today?
It is going great, Alex. Honestly, I have been spending a lot of time thinking about how we actually learn when nobody is watching.
That is so relevant because most of our listeners are studying at home or during their commute.
Exactly, and it can feel a bit lonely sometimes, right?
For sure, you lose that immediate feedback you get in a classroom.
Well, to be fair, that might actually be a hidden advantage if you know how to use it.
I guess that is what we are exploring today, how to turn that solo time into a powerhouse for fluency.
I am literally so ready to dive into the specifics of this.
Me too. Let us jump right in.
I feel like we have a lot of ground to cover.
So let us set the stage here. Why is solo study so difficult for most people?
I think it is the lack of structure and the feeling that you are not making progress.
Right. It's like walking through a fog without a map.
Exactly. You do not have a teacher telling you what is right or wrong.
But the truth is, most of the real progress happens in those quiet moments when you're alone.
Honestly, that is when the brain actually processes the information.
If you think about it, a classroom is just a place to get the tools, not to build the house.
That is a great metaphor. You build the house in your own time.
Today, we want to give you the blueprints for that solo construction project.
We're going to talk about everything from shadowing to journaling.
And we'll discuss how to use technology to be your own teacher.
Basically, we want you to feel confident even when you have no one to talk to.
It is totally possible to reach an advanced level entirely on your own.
It really is, and we have seen it happen many times.
Actually, I think some of the best speakers I know were self-taught.
That is because they had to be more creative with their learning methods.
Let us start with the first big pillar of solo study.
The first thing we need to discuss is the concept of immersion when you are not in an English-speaking country.
People always think they need to move to London or New York to immerse themselves.
Right, but that is a total myth in the digital age.
Honestly, you can turn your living room into a language school with just your phone.
I guess the most obvious place to start is with what you are listening to.
For sure, but you have to do more than just let the audio play in the background.
I mean, passive listening is fine, but active listening is where the magic happens.
Exactly. You should be pausing the audio to repeat phrases that sound interesting.
Speaking of which, let us talk about the shadowing technique in detail.
Shadowing is literally the best tool for improving your rhythm and pronunciation.
To be fair, it feels really weird the first time you try it.
You definitely look a bit crazy talking to yourself.
Basically, you're trying to be the speaker's echo, right?
Right. It's like you're mimicking their every inflection and pause.
Why is that better than just repeating after a sentence is finished?
Well, when you wait, your brain tries to translate the sounds into your own accent.
That makes total sense because you're essentially bypassing the translation filter in your head.
Exactly. You're training your mouth muscles to move at the speed of a native speaker.
The crazy part is how exhausting it can be at first.
Oh, for sure. Your jaw might actually get tired after just 5 or 10 minutes.
It's funny you say that because it really is a physical workout for your face.
To be fair, you should probably start with something slow, like a slow news broadcast.
I guess that prevents the frustration of tripping over your words constantly.
Totally. Consistency over speed is the key here.
What about reading? How does that fit into the solo routine?
Actually, I think reading aloud is one of the most underrated solo exercises.
I agree. It forces you to pronounce every single word, even the ones you usually skip.
Right, and it helps you build a mental library of grammar patterns.
I mean, you're seeing the grammar in action while hearing your own voice.
It's like double reinforcement for your brain.
On that note, how do you choose what to read?
Honestly, you should read things that you actually enjoy in your own language.
If you like sci-fi, read sci-fi in English.
Exactly. Don't force yourself to read boring textbooks.
It's funny because people think they have to read Shakespeare to improve.
Please don't do that to yourself.
Basically, keep it simple and keep it engaging.
If you're engaged, your brain is more likely to remember the vocabulary.
Let's move on to the thinking in English method.
This is the holy grail of fluency for solo learners.
I hear this all the time, but how do you actually start doing it?
Well, you start by labeling the things you see around you in your mind.
So if I'm in the kitchen, I should be thinking toaster, kettle, fridge.
Right, but then you move to full sentences like, I'm making a cup of tea.
It sounds like you're narrating your own life.
Exactly. It's like being the main character in a movie with an English narrator.
The crazy part is that no one knows you're doing it.
That's the best part. It's a completely private practice session.
I guess it helps you find the gaps in your vocabulary very quickly.
For sure. If you can't remember the word for spatula, you know you need to look it up.
It's like an immediate diagnostic tool for your language skills.
To be fair, it takes a lot of mental energy to keep it up.
Honestly, I can only do it for about 10 minutes before I get tired.
That's totally normal at the beginning.
But the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, right?
Exactly. Eventually, the English words will start to come faster than your native ones.
Wait, let's back up to the looking things up part.
Right. Dictionary use is a big topic for solo learners.
Do you think we should use English to English dictionaries?
Honestly, yes, as soon as you reach an intermediate level.
It forces you to stay in the English mindset even when you're confused.
Exactly, and you often learn 2 or 3 new words just by reading the definition.
It's like a ripple effect of learning.
I mean, it's harder, but it's much more effective in the long run.
What about writing? I feel like writing is often neglected when people study alone.
You're so right. Writing is the best way to slow down and focus on accuracy.
I guess journaling is the most common suggestion here.
It's common for a reason. It lets you practice expressing your own thoughts and feelings.
But what if you don't know if you're making mistakes?
Well, that's where AI tools and grammar checkers come in really handy.
Right, you can paste your journal entry into a tool and see the corrections immediately.
To be fair, you shouldn't rely on them for everything.
I mean, you have to understand why the correction was made.
Exactly. Use the tool as a tutor, not as a crutch.
It's funny you say that because I see people just clicking accept all without reading.
That's definitely not going to help you learn.
Basically, you want to analyze the mistakes you keep making.
If you see the same red line under a word every day, that's a pattern.
Once you see the pattern, you can consciously try to fix it.
Honestly, that kind of self-awareness is what separates good learners from great ones.
Let's talk about vocabulary for a second.
Oh, I love talking about vocabulary.
Do you think flashcards are still relevant?
For sure, but they have to be smart flashcards.
You mean like spaced repetition systems?
Exactly. Apps like Anki or Quizlet are amazing for this.
They show you the words just as you're about to forget them.
It's based on the forgetting curve, which is actual science.
The crazy part is how much you can memorize in just 5 minutes a day.
Right. It's all about those small, consistent chunks of time.
I mean, you can do it while you're waiting for the elevator.
Honestly, that's the best time to do it.
To be fair, some people find flashcards a bit boring.
Well, you can make them better by adding your own images and example sentences.
If you use a sentence that's personal to you, it sticks better.
Exactly. If the word is blue, don't just write, "the sky is blue."
Maybe write something like, my first car was a tiny blue hatchback.
That's perfect. Your brain loves personal connections.
It's funny how we remember things that actually matter to us.
That's why immersion works so well. It makes the language matter.
Speaking of making it matter, what about talking to yourself?
We're back to the crazy person in the room.
But seriously, it's so helpful for building muscle memory for conversation.
Honestly, I do this all the time when I'm preparing for a meeting.
I mean, you can practice both sides of a conversation, right?
Exactly. You ask a question and then you try to answer it in a different way.
It's like a mental chess game with yourself.
And you can do it in the shower or while you're driving.
It helps you get over the stuttering phase where you're looking for words.
Right, because you've already said those words out loud a dozen times.
The first time you say a word shouldn't be when you're talking to a native speaker.
That's a great point. Use your solo time to practice the hard words.
On that note, recording yourself is another huge tip.
Oh, people hate the sound of their own voice.
I know, I still hate listening to our podcasts sometimes.
But to be fair, it's the only way to hear your own mistakes.
You don't realize you're saying or every 2 seconds until you hear it.
Or you might notice that your f sounds are actually coming out as d sounds.
Basically, the recording is like a mirror for your speech.
Exactly. You can't fix what you can't see or hear.
It's like an athlete watching film of their own games.
That's a perfect analogy. You're analyzing your performance to get better.
It's funny how much we can improve just by paying attention.
Honestly, most people just go through the motions without really focusing.
To be fair, focus is a limited resource.
That's why 20 minutes of focused study is better than 2 hours of distracted study.
I mean, you have to be all in for those 20 minutes.
Exactly. Put the phone away unless you're using it for an app.
Speaking of apps, what are your thoughts on gamified learning?
Well, they're great for motivation, but they're not enough on their own.
Right, they're like the snack of language learning.
Exactly. You need a full meal, too.
The full meal being the hard stuff like shadowing and writing.
But if the snack keeps you coming back every day, it's still valuable.
I guess it's all about finding the right balance for your lifestyle.
Honestly, the best routine is the one you can actually stick to.
I mean, if you hate flashcards, don't force yourself to use them.
Exactly. Find the method that makes you feel excited to study.
It's funny because I actually enjoy grammar exercises sometimes.
You're a rare breed, Alex.
I guess I just like the feeling of solving a puzzle.
To be fair, grammar is basically the logic of the language.
If you understand the logic, everything else starts to fall into place.
But you have to see it in context to really get it.
Right, that's why reading and listening are so crucial.
They provide the context for all those grammar rules you learn.
It's like seeing the pieces of the puzzle come together.
I think we've covered the main pillars of solo study.
We really have, from listening to speaking and writing.
But I want to spend some time on actual scenarios for people.
That's a great idea. Let's look at how this works in real life.
Let us start with a scenario for a very busy professional.
Okay, let us call her Maria. She has a full-time job and 2 kids.
Maria literally has 0 time to sit down with a textbook.
Honestly, Maria is the perfect candidate for dead time learning.
Honestly, Maria is the perfect candidate for dead time learning. I mean, she has her commute and the time she spends cooking dinner.
Exactly. She can listen to an English podcast while she's driving to work.
And then she can do 5 minutes of flashcards while she's waiting for her coffee.
To be fair, those 5 minutes might not feel like much, but they add up.
If she does that every day, that is 35 minutes a week.
Exactly. And then while she's cooking, she can narrate her actions. I'm chopping the onions. I'm boiling the water.
It sounds simple, but she's practicing her present continuous tense. Basically, she's integrating English into her existing life.
That is the key for busy people. Do not try to find extra time. Just use the time you have.
What about a student? Let's call him Hero.
Hero has more time, but he gets bored very easily.
Honestly, Hero needs variety in his routine.
For sure, he should spend Monday on YouTube, Tuesday on reading, and Wednesday on writing.
I mean, he can use his interests to keep himself engaged.
If he likes gaming, he should watch English-speaking streamers on Twitch.
Right, he'll learn a lot of slang and natural expressions that way.
To be fair, he should also spend some time on formal English if he has exams.
I guess he can balance the fun stuff with the serious stuff.
Exactly. Maybe 30 minutes of a textbook and then an hour of gaming.
It's like a reward system for his brain.
I used to do that all the time when I was studying.
Basically, you make the language a part of your entertainment.
Now, let's look at a stay-at-home parent, maybe someone like David.
David has a lot of interrupted time throughout the day.
Honestly, David should focus on short, high-impact exercises.
I mean, he can use sticky notes to label everything in his house.
That is a classic move. Every time he opens the fridge, he sees the word fridge.
It's like constant passive reinforcement of his vocabulary.
And he can play English songs for his kids.
Right. Kids' songs are actually great because they're simple and repetitive.
Exactly. He'll be singing The Wheels on the Bus in English in no time.
And his kids will probably learn some English too.
To be fair, it's a win-win situation for the whole family.
I guess it's all about making the environment English-friendly.
Speaking of which, changing the language on your phone is a huge one.
Oh man, that is so frustrating at first.
I know. I once got lost in my settings for an hour.
But honestly, you learn words like settings, notification, and delete instantly.
Because you have to use them to navigate your daily life.
Exactly. It turns a passive device into an active teacher.
Basically, you're forcing yourself to interact with the language.
Let us look at one more scenario, the deep diver.
Okay, this is someone who has a whole weekend free to study.
Honestly, they need to be careful not to burn themselves out.
For sure. If you study for 8 hours straight, you'll probably forget half of it.
I mean, the brain needs breaks to consolidate the information.
To be fair, they should use the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
Right, and they should switch skills every hour to keep things fresh.
Exactly. An hour of listening, then an hour of writing, then an hour of grammar.
It keeps the brain from getting too tired of one specific task.
It's like a circuit workout, but for your mind.
I love that, a language gym.
Basically, you want to hit all the different muscles of the language.
And they should definitely include some output in their deep dive.
For sure, they could write a short essay and then try to present it to a mirror.
That's a great way to combine writing and speaking skills.
Honestly, the mirror is a solo learner's best friend.
It gives you that feeling of having an audience without the pressure.
It's funny how much more nervous you get when you're looking at yourself.
I guess it makes you more aware of your body language and expressions.
Exactly. Fluency isn't just about words, it's about how you carry yourself.
To be fair, you don't want to overthink it too much.
Right. Just keep it natural and keep the conversation flowing.
I think these scenarios really show how flexible solo study can be.
It really is. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
You just have to find the pieces that fit your own life.
Honestly, that's the most important lesson of all.
I agree. It's about making the language work for you, not the other way around.
For sure. It should be a tool for your life, not a burden.
Well, we're coming toward the end of our time today.
Wait, I feel like we have so much more to say.
We always do, Sarah. Let us try to wrap up the main points we have discussed today.
Honestly, the biggest takeaway is that solo study is all about consistency.
Right. 10 minutes every day is much better than 2 hours once a week.
Exactly. Your brain needs that constant exposure to keep the language alive.
We talked about immersion and how you can create it anywhere.
And we explored the power of shadowing for your pronunciation.
I mean, mimicking native speakers is like a shortcut to sounding more natural.
To be fair, it takes practice, but the results are totally worth it.
Then we discussed thinking in English and narrating your life.
That is the best way to bridge the gap between knowing and doing.
Don't forget the importance of writing and using AI tools as tutors.
Right. Use them to find your patterns and fix your mistakes.
And finally, we looked at how to fit English into any schedule.
Whether you're a busy parent or a dedicated student, there's a way.
Basically, you just have to be a little bit creative with your time.
Honestly, I feel really inspired just talking about this today.
Me too. It makes me want to go learn a new language myself.
What language would you choose, Alex?
I guess I've always wanted to learn Italian.
Well, you know what to do now. Start shadowing some Italian chefs.
That is a great idea. I'll start tomorrow.
To be fair, you should probably start today.
Right. No time like the present, as they say.
Exactly. Just take that first small step and keep going.
I mean, even if you just learn one new word today, that is progress.
Honestly, those small wins are what keep you motivated for the long haul.
It's funny how much they build up over a year.
You'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come.
I guess that's the beauty of language learning.
It's a journey that never really ends, right?
For sure. There's always something new to discover.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to leave it for today.
I agree. This has been a really great conversation, Sarah.
I have really enjoyed it too. I hope our listeners find it helpful.
I'm sure they will. There's so much practical advice here.
To be fair, they just have to actually do it now.
That is the hard part, isn't it?
It really is, but I believe in them.
Me too. You guys have got this.
Well, that is it for today's episode of the podcast.
Thank you all so much for listening and for all your great questions.
Honestly, we love hearing from you, so keep them coming.
For sure, you can find us on all the usual social media platforms.
Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if you enjoyed the show.
It really helps other learners find us, which is amazing.
I mean, the more the merrier, right?
Exactly. Until next time, happy studying, everyone.
Goodbye.